Hi, my beautiful love. How are you feeling? How is your heart? How is your body? I wanted to come in and chat to you about Mercury and Capricorn. So, Mercury is our planet of communication, it's our intellect, and it's normally quite a zippy, speedy planet. Typically, it's within a sign and it stays there for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So, it's sort of in and out, and we connect in with that energy and it's constantly flowing. Except when it's moving into retrograde through a sign, then it's there for a bit of a longer period. And that's when we really harness this energy and can really use the magic of it. And so Mercury retrograde sometimes gets a really bad rap of like, don't travel, back up all your files, don't do any big decisions. And while that's sort of true in some level, it sort of like takes away the fact that we have choice. A Mercury retrograde period for me is a really beautiful period where we get to really tune inward and use our intuition a lot more, allowing our minds to go deep into the subconscious versus this like quick, fast pace. So it really is a beautiful placement. All retrogrades of actually just allowing yourself to come deep within to find the guidance and clarity. And so what we have is we have with retrograde periods is we have what we call pre-shadow and post-shadow. So what this means is like for today, Mercury is sort of 8 degrees of Capricorn, and it's going to carry on until 24 degrees, and then it's going to move back to the 8-degree mark. So that's sort of that pre-shadow. And then it goes direct, then it starts moving forward again. So then comes here, goes direct, comes forward. And so it's going over the degrees a few times. It goes forwards, backwards, forwards. So that's sort of what the retrograde. And it isn't technically going backwards, it's just from our perception on Earth, whenever we talk about a retrograde, it looks like the planet is going backwards, but it's just moving at a bit of a slower pace. And this is how we explain it on Earth. And so we're starting the pre-shadow phase today, like I mentioned. So it's from the 13th of December. On the 29th of December, we go into the retrograde season. And I had the dates in my head. Yeah, so 24. On the 18th of Jan, it'll come back to the 8-degree sign. And then it moves out, and when it's 7th of Feb, it will reach that 24 degrees. So then it will have done its whole journey. So I'll pop the dates in the text below just so you have that with the degrees. And so Capricorn is a really beautiful sign of Capricorn is this structure. It's really ruled by Saturn. Capricorn is about success. It's your public life lights, it's achievements, career, that sort of thing. Very much about the Capricorn energy of like ambition and what you're going to do. We're almost reaching your highest potential through the structure and everything like that. What often isn't spoken about is the Capricorn energy sign is deeply wise. It's a very intuitive sign. And sort of if you want to think of the ruler Saturn, it is wisdom that comes through age and experience. So often people with strong Capricorn placements, they will be deeply successful if they're in alignment, but it won't be like this in this early age. It's often later in life that they achieve the success, but they've built it on a really structured foundation. They've really like taken those steps to get there and laid that solid foundation. And so if we think of this energy with Mercury here and thinking of everything that we've sort of gone through, we've been in this mutable energy, still a bit in the Sagittarius energy, where you're seeing the big vision and you're like, oh, this is really like my big picture, dreaming of that sort of thing. And it's in the mind's eye, right? With Capricorn, with Mercury there. And so what I'm really feeling into this space is it's now going, okay, this is like my big picture, this is what I wish you want to do. And the Capricorns are coming into the brain and being like, okay, what are the structures? What do we need to put in place? What are the foundation levels? How are we going to do it? And so in this beginning period, it's sort of like laying those pieces down, but not in like concrete. So it's sort of placing and being like, well, I think this will work here, and this really looks well, and this feels like, and we sort of given this period to almost experiment. And also because, and I'll touch base in a video in the next few days about the energy coming up day, because we're going to have quite a few shifts of the energy during this Mercury and Capricorn period. You know, we have Jupiter changing signs, we have the sun coming into Capricorn, and Mars will start to go direct. So there's a lot that will be happening over the next like few weeks while Mercury is in Capricorn. So almost you can feel like you're bringing the pieces and you're laying it all down, and you're not quite set yet. So, you know, I'm getting this image of a table where you're just placing things of stuff, right? And so we have this opportunity here to really feel into it, using our brain, really doing it, and perhaps trying sort of little things out and being like, let's try that, let's try that. And then we're going to hit the retrograde point, that 29th of December, and it's almost like we can go into this review. And so now we're looking at the pieces, we've been moving them around, and we like come into being like, okay, do I still want this? Like coming into this period of revision and review, tuning into our intuition, really going within, will be in the last sort of bit of the Mars retrograde, which we've spoken about, you know, and sort of being like, okay, cool. Yeah, this piece really does feel right. And that, but taking our time, you know, to just look at the pieces, to look at the structures, to connect in with the dream vision, and really ask us the hard questions as well. Because with Saturn and with Capricorn and that, it's going to be like, is this an alignment? Is this something I want to do with my soul? Or is it something because, you know, the definition of success by the outside world, the material world, our family standards? Like, what is my definition of success? What about this would make me feel most successful, but truly make me successful? Does it create spaciousness in my life? Does it create a feeling of deep harmony, deep peace? Does it bring me joy? Does it bring me like expansion? You know, sort of really feeling into that and being like, what actually is practical too, you know? So all of those sort of questions that we can sort of just, I almost want to say like marinate in, like we just like plunk them in and just allow ourselves to ask these sort of questions. And not that we need the answers immediately, because the retrograde gives us about those 3 weeks to really just be in that space, allow the moments of truth to be bubbling up, the aha moments, those sort of things, to come up, to hear our soul whispers. And then what you have is then when it starts to go direct, my loves, is then you're going and okay, that piece that doesn't serve me anymore, but actually this piece came in and I'm going to put that here. And you start being like, actually, let's connect the pieces. So you're really then being like, this is the foundation. I really know what I want to do here. I know this foundation at this point. And that's not to say that whatever you do now is like set in stone, but there's a layer of this foundation of like, cool, this is how I'm going to elevate into 2023. You know, you're giving yourself a really beautiful foundation. So it's not this massive rush into something. And so this is what I feel is this beautiful energy that we're coming into. You know, it's, you know, because it's the communication and it's the ruling of that, is notice the words, the conversations, potentially things that happen in the next few weeks, because they'll come up for review. They'll come up as being like, this is how we tried. That didn't really work, so maybe I'll try this. That didn't really work. Okay, this will be what it is. So, you know, so we're having this really beautiful time to experiment and set things into motion, and then be like, okay, we're waiting for the clarity, waiting for that, and allowing it to come. And when we suddenly have this big push of energy in the beginning of the year, towards the end of Jan, I think will be massive, where we'll be like, oh, we just have this go, you know, and this feeling, and we're almost then like, okay, but I know where I'm going, versus like, have an idea, but I'm not sure how, you know. So Capricorn brings that structure of that, and also that willingness and that recognition that it's going to take time, you know, and that's okay too. And so it really is, I think the big question is, what is your definition of success? How does that look and feel for you? And is it all into alignment with that, versus what we get told is success, what we think we're benchmarking against, which actually it's irrelevant to us personally, and for every single one of us, it's different. And so it's honoring that and really coming back into your alignment. And so that's a wrap, my loves. I will touch base next week or possibly the next few days to really chat about the solstice energy coming up, the new moon, the shifting of Jupiter, a really potent bubbling period for allowing the alignment of the soul and stuff. Sending you so much love and clarity and fun, my loves. Lots of fun. Bye, loves.